What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Khamzat Chimaev interested in fight with Alex Pereira. Khamzat Chimaev's fight with Robert Whittaker this Saturday at UFC 308 could put him in contention for a crack at the title after Dricus du Plessis fights Sean Strickland. But that doesn't mean he's ruling out a fight with Alex Pereira. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. During a sit-down with Michael Bisping this week, Chimaev said that he's always been down for a fight with Pereira. Although he's confident that the fight is a good matchup for him, he also knows that the light heavyweight champion has been on a roll and could wind up knocking him out.
So I've been always open for that. So I know stylistically this match for me much easier than other guys, you know. So yeah. But in striking, I'm honest. I know the guy can knock me out, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone. I know the guy is good striker, one of the best guy who has hardest punches. But I'm one of the best grappler, best wrestler.
Yeah.
He's not that.
Sure.
So
it'd be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, of course.
Given that a win on Saturday could mean that Chimaev is next in line for a crack at the winner of the DDP Strickland fight, Bisping also asked about previous comments Chimaev made about sparring sessions with Strickland. "We did train with that guy. We've been good when we've been in the gym, but when I go back to Sweden, he started and do some things he didn't like when I said I tap him out, you know. Did you tap him out? Yeah, many times, bro. Chokes, different things, but he's good. His strength's good. He's a good fighter, but he's a tough guy. Tough dude, man. I said the things everyone see in the gym, so ask his coach. That's it." Considering how active Strickland is on social media, don't be surprised if he fires back here. Up next, Max Holloway breaks silence on health concerns. Max Holloway has been in some wars throughout his career. From his latest fight with Dustin Poirier a few years ago to his trilogy with Alexander Volkanovski, Holloway has absorbed more than his fair share of strikes inside the cage, causing fans to worry about his long-term health. Even though he's known for his iron chin, the former champion was advocating for fighters to take care of their brain health this week, leading up to his fight with Ilia Topuria on Saturday, telling media members on Wednesday that fans will never know just how serious he takes brain health.
Take care of you guys' brain, try and find brain health, learn about brain health, and do the right things. You know, you only get one brain, guys. You only get one brain, and once that thing starts deteriorating, it's not like anything else where you can grow it back. So be smart, go see specialists, go see doctors, go do research on your own brain health, and take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what it is, you know. You wanna be able. I don't want to be a vegetable when I grow older.
Even though he's taken a whopping 2,200 significant strikes throughout his career, as the old saying goes, fighters leave their chins in the gym during hard sparring sessions. And fortunately for Holloway, he cut back on the amount of sparring he does several years ago, which should help cut down on the number of concussive blows he takes. The big question now is, will his chin hold up against Ilia Topuria's power this weekend in Abu Dhabi when the two fight for the featherweight title? Concerns rise for Colby Covington's return. Is Colby Covington actually going to fight again after losing to Leon Edwards over the summer? Well, Chael Sonnen doesn't think so. After the loss, Covington shot down the idea of fighting against an up-and-coming contender like Shavkat Rakhmonov or Ian Gary. But considering the fact that all of his wins except Rafael dos Anjos are against fighters who are not on the UFC's active roster, it seems like he'll need to fight down in the rankings for his next fight. According to Sonnen, Covington has so many offers outside of the octagon, and because of how happy he looks, the American gangster isn't sure whether he'll ever return to the UFC.
I heard a guy go up, an Armenian gentleman, and pitch Colby on a roll in a movie. I heard another guy go up and pitch him on publicly traded companies, and I couldn't quite hear what he was saying after that, but they wanted him to be a spokesman and a face. This is just what I heard. I was doing my own thing, man. There was people everywhere. It's a party going on. They got music going. He literally got pinned down. When he got off of that wall, he went to a backdrop. They were doing like this red carpet. He got pinned down over there for another 30 minutes. He couldn't move this whole night. All different people coming up, wanted a piece of his time, wanted to introduce himself. I'm just telling you. And Colby looked happy. He didn't look annoyed. So I don't know if he's ever going to fight again.
Right now, Covington is 6th on the UFC's welterweight rankings, just ahead of Ian Gary and Gilbert Burns. Even though a fight with Gary isn't going to happen, after Burns' loss to Sean Brady, a fight between him and Covington could make sense if Covington isn't going to fight against an up-and-coming contender to get back in the title picture. Okay, now let's take a look at Robert Whittaker reveals plans after UFC 308. If Robert Whittaker wins on Saturday, odds are he'll be the next guy in line for a title fight after Sean Strickland fights DDP for the belt. Even though he could wind up winning back the title and reigning over the middleweight division, the Reaper told Michael Bisping on Wednesday that when he turns 36 years old, he's out. 2.5 years, I reckon. I like the number of 36. I think that's a good time to sit down and really look at what I'm doing and what I want to do afterwards. I think I want to coach a bit. Maybe a fireman? I don't know. I feel like 36 is a good age to just really dive into whatever else I want to do. Of course, in the past, we've seen fighters like Bendo, aka Benson Henderson, say that they're going to retire at a certain age and then change their minds when the time comes. In his case, he wanted to retire at 33 and join the military reserves. In Whittaker's case, it sounds like he might wind up hanging around the fight game as a coach instead of a fighter. Prior to making a decision about his future, he will enter the cage on Saturday night to fight Khamzat Chimaev, which he discussed with the media on Wednesday. I'm expecting him to come out hard and aggressive from the first second to the last, and I've prepared accordingly for that. I prepared for the hardest fight of my life, to start extremely hard, like sprinting for the first 5 to 10 minutes, but also drag it out to 5 minutes. I'm ready to sprint for 25 minutes if so. I'm coming in for war. I'm expecting the best version of himself. I'm expecting a guy that comes out hard and a guy that will last. I'm prepared for it. I've trained for it. I'm not going to train thinking that if I get out of the first round, it's game over. I'm preparing for the best version he can offer me, a super soldier. I've done that. If he wants to have a chance to fight for the belt and walk away from the fight game on top, Whittaker will need to get a win on Saturday. What if you could make risk-free profits in sports betting? This may sound too good to be true, but let me explain. The sports betting market in the US is so fragmented, with each book setting their own odds. This means that there's so many opportunities to profit when two books get out of sync. You can get both sides, over on one book, under on another, and lock in a risk-free profit. This strategy is called arbitrage, and it's the core of OddsJam. OddsJam scans hundreds of sportsbooks in real time to find these bets, helping thousands of bettors earn tens of thousands of dollars every single month. Look at the results yourself. And here's the best part. You can try it for free. OddsJam offers a 7-day risk-free trial, giving you access to all of its data-driven tools, including the arbitrage and positive EV finder. If you don't love it, cancel with one click, no strings attached. Ready to get started? Use promo code MMAZone for 35% off your first month after the trial. Don't miss out on making smarter, risk-free bets with OddsJam today. UFC updates. Ahead of Saturday's UFC 308 card, let's look at today's UFC updates. After winning on Dana White's Contender Series, Jonathan McAuliffe revealed to fans on Instagram that he signed a contract with the UFC. So far, there's been no word on when he'll make his debut or who he'll fight against, but the welterweight is riding a 2-fight winning streak that has seen him go 7-1 so far as a pro. This week, it came out that Jake Hadley had been removed from the UFC's roster, which led to a bunch of fans thinking that he'd been cut even though he accepted a short-notice fight, like Al Zulino pointed out. It turns out that he was not cut, but instead, he fought out his contract and did not re-sign with the UFC, which he explained in a bunch of posts on social media. I wasn't cut, my contract came to an end, took 2 big risks my last 2 fights being a company man, and it bit me on the arse. Took blockhead on a week's notice but missed the weights, which was obviously held against me, then took Cam on 3 days notice after originally training for a wrestling-based opponent. I understand Cam didn't do a camp, but everyone's ready always for 3x5s. Come on, I've proven that versus Blockhead took the fight on baby's due date because fight was offered and didn't want to say no to the UFC and be a company man. But oh well, if I choose to work my way back to the UFC, I know I can do that again, no problem. Unsurprisingly, Umar Nurmagomedov and Merab Dvalishvili are still going at it online, with Nurmagomedov posting a clip of the machine on the Ariel Helwani show on Instagram and writing, "December or January, the UFC offered you this fight. He said beginning of the new year, he will fight, and he said he don't ducking, but what he says and what he does do not match." If they keep going back and forth, the UFC might have to book a fight between the two. Who should Alex Pereira fight next? Even though Conor McGregor and a lot of MMA fans want Alex Pereira to move up to heavyweight, it sounds like the champion's going to stay at 205 and defend his title. The question is, who is he going to fight next? The way Henry Cejudo sees things, if Magomed Ankalaev decides to use his grappling instead of slugging it out on the feet this weekend, then the UFC probably won't want to give him a title fight. You don't want to do that, because if you do that, the UFC definitely ain't giving him the fight with Alex Pereira, so don't. Keep it on your feet, finish him, because that's the way it is. Alex Pereira is talking about he might just keep him waiting, and he has that leverage with the UFC. Kamaru Usman disagreed. At some point, you have to come sit down at the table, and the company's going to say, hey, this is the direction we want to go. No? Alright, we're stripping you. That's why the UFC has swallowed boxing. The best has got to fight the best. Okay, Pereira is not going to say, I'm not fighting Uncle, and the UFC is going to go, okay, sure. With all that being said, I do believe Ankalaev is extremely gifted and talented, and he should get through this fight. According to Ankalaev, beating Alexander Rakic isn't enough to get a title fight, and if he wants to fight for the belt, then he has to put on a quote-unquote good fight. He might have his work cut out for him though, because according to Alexander Rakic's team, when he fought Jiri Prochazka at UFC 300, he wasn't 100% healthy. But this time around, he's going into UFC 308 healthy and actually likes the stylistic matchup with Magomed Ankalaev better than the stylistic matchup with Prochazka. Tom Aspinall reveals next fight opponent. It sounds like Tom Aspinall is giving up on a fight with Jon Jones or Stipe Miocic ever happening. Even though nothing's been finalized about the two legends' retirement, Aspinall thinks that after their UFC 309 fight, they'll both retire. If that happens, the UFC would then probably just promote Aspinall to the undisputed champion, and then have him fight a top contender. During an interview with Casino Hawks, he said that assuming Jones and Miocic retire, the most likely scenario is that he ends up fighting either Alexander Volkov or Ciryl Gane for his next fight. I'd like to fight this year, but I don't think it's going to happen because of the logjam at the top with them two, so I think we're probably looking at early next year, hopefully. Realistically, it should be the winner of Jon and Stipe, but I think they'll retire, so I think it's more likely to be the winner of Ciryl Gane and Volkov. That seems like the logical perspective, but whether that happens or not, I don't know. Aspinall also shared his prediction for the December bout between Volkov and Gane, saying that the fight is too close to call and he could see both guys getting the win. I think that's a 50-50 fight. I know they've fought before and it was an absolute stinker. The first one was terrible. Since I've fought Volkov, he's improved a lot. He's changed his training situation and Gane has been inactive. Gane seems to fight once a year against opponents who suit him quite well. It's hard to say. Volkov has been very active. I think he fought 4 or 5 times since we fought a couple of years ago, which is a lot for an elite heavyweight. I still think it's a close fight though, because I believe Gane is very good and smart, but I think it'll be a lot closer than the last one, and I wouldn't be surprised if Volkov pulled it off. By the time the two fight in December, we'll already know whether Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic are retiring, and just how high the stakes are for the Volkov-Gane fight. Alexander Volkanovski pranks media member. Always the prankster, Alexander Volkanovski got one over on a media member in Abu Dhabi this week when he seemed completely unamused by the fact that he had to do an interview. After pretending to walk off, Volkanovski then made it clear that he was just joking around.
This is more just general for the pay-per-view, like main event prediction and then general stuff in the UFC.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. No worries. Do you want me to move across with you? Yeah.
So no silly questions like there usually are?
Couple silly ones.
Just stupid ones? I told you I didn't want to do this one.
No, hey.
Sorry.
I know. Because every single time they'll just bring up every single time.
I know, but it's just one, it's just they come to their big
I don't want to do it. No, I'm joking.
Hey, my career flashed before my eyes.
I was hoping you were going to come up.
Oh, I knew you were kind of G'ing up.
Your face.
You got it on camera?
I had mine going anyway. I even told her, I said I was going to do it.
That was good.
Khamzat Chimaev reveals sad news on his son's health. In a recent interview, Khamzat revealed that his son is having surgery soon on his kidney, and he talked about what it's like to be a dad. Here's what he had to say.
So after this fight, will you go back to Russia, or like what, have you kind of?
I going back to Sweden. My son has one surgery, has a second one, but everything's good, thanks God. But one more after the fight. So after that, my son will be healthy. So yeah, that's it.
How old is your son?
1.5.
Yeah, you're only one?
Yeah, only one.
How's that been?
Difficult, so I don't know, so it's fun. Yeah.
What kind of surgery is he getting?
He has one kidney, some problem. I don't know what that calls in English. So
it's not a distraction. It's not bothering you that you're here doing this and he's there.
Yeah, of course, bothering you. Operation surgery is hard when somebody from your family, bigger one. When you're a kid, it's different. You feel about it. You think about it, you know. So for me, most important, my family, not the fighting game. So this one, of course, I think about it more.
Sean O'Malley has his DMs leaked by Haley Welsh, aka Hawk Tua. On a recent podcast, Talk Hua, Haley revealed that O'Malley had been DMing her recently and claims that he's lonely. Here's what Haley had to say.
You said a UFC fighter, right? What is that fella's name that's been messaging me all week? The O'Malley boy.
Sean?
Sugar Sean?
That's my cousin.
Wait, that's
so
your cousin?
nice.
No, but I tell people it
I
is.
was like, I should get hooked up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
I can put you on. He has a kid, don't he?
Was he DMing you?
Dude, he's so nice. He's just conversating with me. He's like, what are you doing?
No,
I was
wasn't he
"Oh,
like-
nothing." I had like 5 missed calls from him, and I was like, what the
Calling you?
Yeah, like on Instagram. I didn't even know you could do that.
Okay.
He just had some kind of hip surgery.
Oh, maybe
Oh,
he's
so
not-
lonely.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
he did.
Sean O'Malley responded and said, "Yo, was on Oxy IG Live trying to call her LMAO post-surgery." Top comments. You don't understand how much Dana was pissed after the Ankalaev versus Blachowicz fight. He was expecting a banger coming off the best fight ever between Yuri and Glover and got that snooze fest of a fight that ended in a draw instead. Armin's saying anything for a title shot. UFC is rigging fights and everything, judges, referees, too many examples, because they know there's a big chance Ankalaev can beat Alex Pereira, which means they lose money because fans love Alex. Same thing they're doing with Evloev. Instead of the 21-0, they're giving the belt for the guy he beat, Diego Lopez. There's a reason Herb Dean was pushing Merab work non-stop, because Sean O'Malley and Umar was dream fight for UFC, so they set that up as well. It's not who deserves, but who brings more money to the company. It doesn't matter. Khalil gave a good fight. He was number 8. Merab and Sterling should date each other.